Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Taylor Radio with me, your fantastic host, Taylor. Hey everybody, this ad is about a podcast called A Little About a Lot podcast. I have not seen it, so take it at your own risk. A Little About a Lot is a variety show by YouTubers, Kelsey and Becky behind the channel The Sorry Girls. Kelsey and Becky spill tea, about their personal lives, talk about the struggles of relationships and dating. Becky is married and Kelsey is not. Oh my. Research their favorite celebs from the 90s, answer audience questions, interview some badass people, and more. We want to challenge perspectives and leave our audience feeling refreshed, inspired, and with a little more knowledge about a lot. Search your podcast app for A Little About a Lot podcast and subscribe to the A Little About a Lot podcast. And that is it for this. Come on in, sit down. Welcome to the podcast. I want to go over it's a basic concept in economics, and it's something that heavily has affected my life, especially in the last few years, ever since quitting my corporate job and trying to figure out what to do. And one reason why I feel stuck at times, and something that I think it's at the crux of a lot of decisions, if you think about it, and that is opportunity cost. So the opportunity cost is the potential, it's what you could make pursuing another opportunity. So, for example, my opportunity cost of pursuing my current life of, doing online stuff, family business and that kind of stuff, the opportunity cost was keeping a corporate job, right? Or like keeping the job where I was at, or maybe getting another job in that field. Another good example of opportunity cost would be like deciding on who you want to date. Say you go out with person A, the opportunity cost is person B, maybe the other person that you were thinking about going out with, or, the whole potential field. And I don't know about other people, but I know for me that this idea of opportunity cost, to be honest, is one of the big things that right now I'm good, but it has been driving, I think, a part of my anxiety or a part of my being nervous about the future. So part of it has just been, financial stability, right? And I think this applies to a lot of people. I hear stats about how there's a good percentage of Americans, it's like maybe 30 or 40% couldn't even cover some basic emergency that required an extra $1,000 or something. And so I do think there is a real problem and a real struggle with financial uncertainty. But what if you have some money in the bank, or you're kind of stable, but you're still kind of lost, what the fuck do I do? That is something that I run across from time to time, is what the fuck am I doing? Or what should I do? Because, I don't know, you just feel like pretty much there's a limitless number of options. And the question is, what do you want to sacrifice? Because every decision that I make, and this goes for everybody, every decision you make means giving up another alternative. And that alternative is your opportunity cost. The thing is that in economics, we make it seem so straightforward, right? The opportunity cost of producing this product would be giving up profits over here. But oftentimes the opportunity cost is not really there, right? It's not quantifiable, but the idea is there. And so, for example, I could say that the opportunity cost of what I'm doing now would be working a corporate job, but it's who the hell knows what that reality would have played out to be, maybe that reality would have been horrible. If I had not pursued this, like, I don't know what the future would have been like. I have no idea. I don't know what that simulation, how it would have played out. And, the same, I think, with also dating. That's something that I currently, I'm in the dating pool. So I think about that sometimes, like, oh, if I pursue this person or if I go after somebody, then by doing that, I'm pretty much giving up on other potential options. Now, of course, I mean, that's a given, I guess. I guess that's well understood. But when you realize how much time is involved, I'm a pretty busy guy. It's like, well, how much time do I want to, get tied up dealing with somebody that maybe I don't want to deal with? I don't know. Anyway, getting off kilter here. I guess I've been kind of coming to terms with some of the opportunity costs, I think, in my life recently. And I don't know if it's because of the fact that, yes, some of the finances are a little bit better. Things are looking up in that regards. I seem to have a little bit more of a sure footing, a sure footing just, and when I say, like, just basically things are a little bit better. A little bit better. So maybe that is what drives down the anxiety about opportunity cost. But then the other thing is, legitimately, I don't know about other people, but I also from time to time think about prestige. I think about social status. And that's something that I'm trying to fight, because I understand that I believe that if I stick to my guns, if I stick to my ideas and my, the things that I believe in, I do believe that I will be successful in the end. And I just think I'll be a more confident person in general. However, I do understand that there is a societal pressure to meet certain standards by certain ages, right? Like, it's kind of weird if you're a 27-year-old dude and you're like, oh, I'm going to get out of my apartment and go live with a relative because I can save money, so I can, like, it sounds nice, right? Like, oh, I can save money so I can invest in my business opportunities, right? But the bottom line is that being in the trenches, in the nitty gritty, is not glamorous. Like, it sounds kind of nice. Like, oh, dude, that guy's got his shit together. He's going to save some money so he can grow his business opportunities or whatever he's trying to do. And it's like, yeah, but what the reality of that situation, when you're in it, you're like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Right? Like, I'm going out into, further out to the suburbs, isolated from more and more people that are my age. And I'm, doing all this online stuff, and it just seems isolating at the time. So I think the opportunity cost of that, is, what am I doing now? What is the alternatives that I could be engaged in? And I often have thought about, well, I could just go back and get a job. And then I think, no, this is what I want to do, right? This is what I want to do. Even if I'm not doing the exact thing I want to do. Which brings me to my next thing, kind of related to opportunity cost, is it's hard to, make decisions on what paths you want to take when fundamentally you're not sure what you want to do. I don't know how other people feel about this, or if you have very concrete goals. I listen to a lot of things on YouTube, read some things. I hear a lot of podcasts, and sometimes you hear those people that just have that vision, right? They have that vision. They want to be a music producer. They want to be some kind of, marketing mogul or whatever. And for someone like me, it's not really there. There's not just this, oh, there's this one fucking thing I want to do that's just going to change my life for the better. Like, this is all I want to do. I don't really have that one thing. I think that for me, there's many things I enjoy doing. I really just kind of enjoy the process of life itself. It's not like there's just one thing that I want to do forever. So it's really hard to gauge your alternatives when you're not really sure how to gauge those alternatives, right? Like, how much value will you get out of different options kind of depends on how much you weight those alternatives, right? So like how much, if I decided to not pursue the entrepreneurial lifestyle, I'd be trading off freedom and decision-making abilities and some of the free time I have to pursue things for, well, a more stable, at least a seemingly more stable wage, maybe a higher wage for a certain period of time. But the question is like how much in order to decide what alternative you want to take, you have to figure out, what do you want more? Do you value the freedom more, right? Or do you value the structure more? What do you value? So for me, I'm in a constant fight. I'm kind of in a constant struggle between trying to figure out like what is it that I want to do? How much, what is the value of what I'm doing? Constantly trying to figure that out. And it's difficult. It's difficult to do that and weigh it against the alternatives that I could be engaged in. And I understand this sounds really rambling, and it really is. But it's a concept that has really, as I'm getting older, and I'm still in my 20s, obviously, but I think about every year that goes by that I stay on this path is another year that I'm, on this path. I'm on this train. And even though I could stop it, change course, do something else later, you do think about the opportunity cost at this point. So it's just something that has been on my mind lately. Another thing that has really been on my mind is Nassim Taleb's idea of anti-fragile, becoming anti-fragile. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave this as a episode for now and make another episode about that because it's kind of changes course here, but it's about small business as well. So I'm going to leave it there, and we'll call it a day. Peace.